but you are in a leadership position now, so I'm gonna press you that on just a minute. But I wanted to ask Dr. Belding, the as far as there was things that you had to cut, but I saw that you guys invested more in instruction this year. You had to do a little bigger investment, but there were some other things that you cut, and then there were some things that have gone up, like the insurance costs. I was watching the insurance costs and some other fees that have gone up. Can you talk about some of the things that you tried to do to some of the cuts that you presented to the board and how that went this year?
Sure. And again, we looked at operational cuts first to try to mitigate the impact on the classroom. And the board said early on through those conversations, class sizes need to remain small, because one of the conversations we had would be a possible cut if we went up to 28-1 class size average for 5 through 12, then that would have saved us, millions of dollars. I think $1.5 million is what the number that I remember, but don't hold me to that 100%. So the board said, no, we don't want to do that. We want to keep small class sizes. We also looked at, like mowing, the number of times that we mow at our campuses and the savings that we could experience if we would just reduce 1 or 2 mows during the year. So we actually have implemented that. So if you see the grass a little longer, it's because we're saving money there. We also were looking at, like, our transportation department a couple of years ago actually went to the open market for fuel. And so that has actually saved us money as well. The inflationary costs that everyone's experiencing, we're trying to mitigate those. Now, we did get some really good news on our insurance, not health insurance, but on the other side, the property and casualty insurance. It actually is going down this year for the first time in several years. So that's huge. Fantastic. And that $3.3 million deficit was going to be over $4 million, but that insurance number came down. And so that is fantastic. But fuel costs are up just with inflation, and we're driving more. We're having to add routes, so that increased operational costs. We've continued to through attrition, not fill some positions. Over the past 4 or 5 years, we've cut 96 jobs in the district over that time period. And if we still had those 96 jobs, that would have been another $4.5 million of expense. You saw in the news some districts that were cutting, like in the spring and summer. Well, even before I got here, MISD was reducing staff, and we really continued to do that. And we cut 55 jobs for 24-25 to try to save money. So, and we cut through attrition again. I didn't fill a couple of positions going into this school year. We really worked hard at looking at our staffing patterns, making sure that we've got the teachers for classrooms, we've got aides and instructional aides for kids there to support. But every time that we have an opening in other spots, we're looking at that and can we get by without it? And there's for short term, you can get by without some things. Long term, it's going to get tougher and tougher because you're asking people to take on more. And there's a point that they can't continue to take on more and more. We've got to be able to run and operate. So,
right. All right. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Ryan, do you think, because we're going to get into Vaters now, do you think personally and in your leadership position that the board has been a good steward to the people's money?
Absolutely. And I think before I got on there, our board of Midlothian ISD has paid off bonds early. They've saved, we talked about it on Monday night, Dr. Belding, $45 million.
Over the last few years.
Over the last few years, and by paying off bonds early. And so, yeah, absolutely. I think that this board is a great steward of the community and the public's money. Talking about things that were cut, Dr. Belding and I have talked at length about the teachers and the staff and everybody. They did a great job of making cuts and finding places to cut back. But some of those things that were cut back were things like teacher training, teachers going out to places and learning from other champions for public education all over, and they're missing out on those things. And yeah, we can do that for a couple years. We can. But I don't know about you, DV. I don't want my kids being taught by someone who's doing the exact same thing over and over every year. We got to learn new things. We got to learn new, ways to educate, especially in the times that we're living in right now, because everything's ever changing.
Yeah.
And if we're teaching these kids the same way that I was taught, then man, we are losing out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's a whole new world out there.
Yeah. Some of us are a little bit older. Those stone tablets don't work anymore. You can't go with the stone tablet anymore. But
Belding wrote with the quill. And
yeah, he did.
That's right. Quill. That's right.
Yeah, he's got us both. So we're moving on to Vaters. The last Vater, like you mentioned, it didn't go. There was various reasons. But one of the things that I've talked with several board members about and have said online is when you're asking for the people's money, they have to trust you that you're going to do good by that money and that you're being forward. Dr. Belding was everywhere trying to explain it, trying to do everything. So talk to me about, I know that this still has to go to meeting. I know that the board still needs to vote on it, but why do we need a Vater? What does a Vater do? I saw something about that because of this HB2 that like they freeze the golden pennies a little bit, or there was a little bit less that you could get from it. Somebody kind of chime in about this Vater and the mechanics of it.
Sure. Oh, you're right. They froze the yield on the golden pennies, and that freed up the money to increase the basic allotment by $55. Okay, it's within House Bill 2. So it was a movement there. But the golden penny yield is still substantial because for the district, and we talked about it the other night, and I've got the figures written down here because I thought you might ask about this. But if the voters were to approve the 3 golden pennies, if we do go out for Vater, and that decision has not been made, there has not been a vote or anything like that. So I just want to be really clear about that. I'm not wanting to get ahead of my board and things like that. But the local, it would generate over $5 million for the M&O side of our budget in revenue. Okay. And 3.1 million of that would be from local dollars, and 2 million of that would be additional state dollars. So that state money that we're not getting right now, because the state basically rewards the district for a stronger local tax effort when the voters approve those 3 golden pennies. Okay. So it would be a $5 million additional revenue. And why is that important? First off, we're still projected to run a deficit, and we're going to that $3.3 million deficit, we're going to do everything we can as we move through the year to lower that and shrink that just naturally. The Vater also, if it's approved, would put us in a position to have stronger compensation for our teachers and our staff moving forward, and really protect our programs and that student experience, so we don't have to look at cutting there to try to continue to shore things up. And it really takes the student transfer question off the table because we wouldn't need that to supplement revenue in order to balance or to be able to afford raises in the future and things of this nature. Okay, so I think there's a lot of mechanisms there and a lot of impact, and that revenue number is going to shift over time based on enrollment, based on changes to the law about the golden penny yield and things of this nature. Of course, all that's unknowns because every legislative session is a little bit different. And I do want to take a moment just to thank the legislature for the additional funding with House Bill 2 and the raises for teachers and staff. And I'm really proud of our board in Midlothian because we actually gave more. We did what House Bill 2 dictated for teachers, and we gave a little stronger raise to non-administrative personnel than what was funded. And then we gave a 3% raise to our administrative personnel that got a 1% raise last year. So, leadership matters, and we want to take care of those principals and those curriculum specialists and people like that support instruction.
The pay raises, and I'm sorry if I don't know exactly the way it went down, but you guys passed the pay raises, but they were dependent on something. Can you explain that real quick?
So we passed, when we initially passed the budget for the 25-26 school year, which was in May, correct, Dr. Belding?
Yeah, it was in June.
June. So we passed that initial one in June, but we passed it with a caveat like, hey, teachers, if you are watching this, listen to me and know that as soon as House Bill 2 comes through, we're going to come back and we're going to make an amendment. Okay. So you're getting this step raise, the minimum of what we were able to do, because we want you to know that we're putting it out there. But as soon as House Bill 2 gets signed, comes through, we're coming back and we're amending this. And so then that's what we did in July. We came back and we said, we believe in our teachers. We need our teachers, not just our teachers, but everybody in the staff. And so that's why this board made sure that we pushed past just what the state did. We raised our first year teachers through the help of the state. And like Dr. Belding said, thank you very much, legislature, for opening up the purse strings and finally sending this through. But we also went above and beyond that and took care of everyone else too, because the school, the teachers are the backbone, but so are the janitors, so are the bus drivers, so are the administrators. So is every single person that goes into running the school is like a piece of a puzzle, and it does not function. It does not run without every single one of those pieces fitting together. Right. And so we got to take care of all of them. Would we like to have done more? Heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now this, and you know what? Thank you, because that's that. If there's one thing that I've heard in these conversations for the last few years is the teachers and their pay. School funding hasn't gone up since 2019. Teachers not getting pay raise. I've heard these things for years, and they were true. And now that these teachers get a little extra money, I know money's not everything, but trying to retain these teachers and not having a big turnover, you're competing with Mansfield, you're competing with these bigger cities, and now we're becoming a big boy, and you got to compete with them. So I'm glad that you guys are paying the teachers more. Now on that Vatre though, I think sometimes people get confused with the golden pennies, and how that works and how it pulls out. If you guys decide, Ryan, on this Vatre, are you guys going to try to explain it differently? Or are you going to stay away from the legalese? Are you going to tackle the legalese head on? What are some of the things you're thinking just in leadership?
Yeah, as leadership wise, and I do want to reiterate again, because I don't want board members watching this and thinking Ryan's making the decisions. Ryan is one of 7. Okay. And nothing has been made. Nothing has been decided. I think Dr. Belding had a great presentation. He had a great explanation. He had sample ballots out there. I just think we have to continue to educate the community and everyone that we can, and get out there should it go that direction, and explain it the best that we can. Very similar to what Dr. Belding did last year, but he was a one-man show, and it's going to take a lot more. So if you're watching this and you're a community member and you voted yes and you believe in it from last time, we need you to rally the troops. Should it go that direction, we need everybody that we can get that believes in it, that understands it, that sees it as not a burden on you in your bank account, because would I like to have more money in mine, and would I like to pay less tax? Well, absolutely. Okay. But I also believe that investment, that small investment that may make a change in my monthly bills, that I will say again, DV, no matter who's watching this and where you fall and where your bank account falls, it's not a big investment, but it is an investment. But I believe it's worth it. And I believe that putting that money aside and having that money, even if our budget did balance and we come out in the plus, guess what? That's more money that we're able to give back to the teachers and invest in our students and invest in all the different things. Because when it goes in that fund balance, it increases our percentages and all those things. And that's a need. That is a definite need to invest in our community, and invest in the people coming to our community, the people working in our community, and the people learning in our community.
People come to the area for the schools. They do. And the schools matter and how children are educated. So it is very important. You had a committee put together, Dr. Belding, that you put together, and the community. I kicked myself in the butt because I thought I had sent that email in, and apparently it didn't send.
Oh no.
Because I wanted to be. I even contacted Theta. I was like, "You think maybe you could sneak somebody in here?" Because I so wanted to be part of that, in the sense that I love the district and I love what you guys do for the community, and I wanted to be part of that. But that said, it went on, and you had all these community members that met. And again, there's been no vote for any bonds, but and I'm going to talk with Ryan, the political side of that. But what came out of that committee, Dr. Belding, as far as what our needs are,
Sure.
what our wants are, and how we put those together?
Sure. And just to hit one more time back with the possible Vatre, I just want the community to know we appreciate their support and we appreciate the resources that they give us. And it's important that we're really good stewards of those resources. And I take that really, really seriously, and we work really hard to do that. So thank you to everyone for what you do to support, to educate the children of this community. So thank you for that. So as far as the facility planning committee, we had a really great cross-section of community people that came together. It included business owners, city officials. It included teachers. We had a teacher from each campus. We had a handful of our principals at different levels that were part of the committee. And we had 85 people that came to a minimum of 2 meetings. And we had an average attendance at those committee meetings of 68. So we had a really good participation over the summer. And it was a really fast schedule, okay? As far as we met every other week for the most part. And that was great because it had information was fresh on everyone's mind. And one of the things that I told them early on, you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want. So we're going to have to make some choices. And our board gave the committee a charge. And part of that charge was to bring a fiscally responsible, conservative recommendation to the board for possible projects. And they worked hard, and we gave them a lot of information. They asked for other information from us, and we produced that information for them. And they really struggled, but they ultimately came to a consensus of a package for one new elementary, the CTE Center, capital improvements to Frank Still Middle School, renovations to Frank Still Middle School, capital improvements to Midlothian High School, renovation to Midlothian High School, then capital improvements for all the other campuses in the districts. That would be everything from paving and grading, there are some issues there, roofing, HVAC systems that are end of life and out of date and just aren't supported anymore, flooring, painting, all of those kinds of capital improvements, and not just campuses, but other district facilities. Adding on to the ag facility, doing technology infrastructure improvements for safety and security, doing technology devices for devices that are end of life for us, school buses, expanding the transportation center, adding another mechanics bay, another wash bay, as well as a training area, improving the restroom situation there and things of this nature. And I'm forgetting something, but it was $383 million. And again, they worked really, really hard on those recommendations. And they were expanding the ag facility because we're pinched on space there for the number of kids that are involved in ag and wanting to have an animal project and making sure that's a great environment for them. Buying school buses as well. There's 30 buses.
How much do those cost?
About $150,000 a bus. And we need air conditioner on them and things of this nature. So we've got a lot of buses that are getting a lot of miles on them and are coming to end of life. So people, they were excited about it when we got to the end. I mean, there were some people like, oh, we really wanted this, we really wanted that. But when they came together, it had to have 75% consensus from the committee to make it. And that's a really strong percentage. And there were several that 100%. There were several that had about 85%, and then several that had like 76%. So it's about a total package of about $383 million.
383, that's the number. And you mentioned a CTE center, and I was talking with Ryan beforehand. I went to the Waxahachie CTE building, and Mr. Ed Harrison, who I think his name is Ed Harrison too, he gave me a tour. He's the CTE director at WISD. He gave me a tour of that building. They had barber, they had obviously the farm stuff, they had the things they were doing with welding there. I mean, they made these trailers that looked like they were professional. That they were working on the medical stuff, the dummies, for lack of a better word, and,
sure.
and
yep.
like doing the phlebotomy, and
yep.
It was just, I was covering on, and I plan on doing a feature with that when I talk with the superintendent over there. But now you guys are talking about a building. What does that look like? What are we looking as far as trades education to add to that?
Sure. And you brought up a couple right there, like cosmetology, for instance, with the barber, and our kids are having to go to Navarro right now to get that. And we know that more students want to engage with that program, but can't because they're not able to go. Right? Also, like auto tech and construction trades, whether that's electrical, plumbing, HVAC systems, expanding on our engineering program that we have right now, expanding with health science. Both high schools have health science, but we could create spaces that are specifically designed for health science, have them go to the CTE center, and then reuse those classrooms at both high schools, actually creating more capacity at the high schools there. We definitely are looking at expanding what our offerings are. The culinary arts over at the Mile, I love the Mile. It's 32,000 square feet of support there. The phase one that's being recommended, it's a phased plan for a CTE center, would be 125,000 square feet over there. And it would be specialized spaces for the programs that we want to offer. So to have a true industrial kitchen for our culinary arts students to really have that experience to prepare them to go into the workforce in that area. But again, trying to expand those programs that we have in order, to give our kids more opportunities to have those experiences and have a true building that would support that. Now, if this is called by the board, and if the voters see fit to approve the CTE center, the Mile is not going to be shuttered. Okay, we will expand our alternative high school credit recovery program at the Mile and be able to have more seats for kids to take advantage of that over there in DAP. And so I think that's a big piece of this puzzle, because we have a waiting list for the LEAP program every year. And so we want to be able to expand those seats to serve more kids with that program and help change lives in that manner in a positive way.
Ryan, I know that this hasn't been voted on, and you could only speak for one of seven, but you are in leadership now. So as far as the bond is concerned, is there, for lack of a better word, do you guys have positive thoughts on the board about some of the stuff on this bond and the direction so far, if it's to go?
I was lucky enough, along with our Ed Harrison, Trustee Harrison, to be at all of these facility planning committee meetings. We had two board members there at each one, and then we had a rotating third so that everyone could hear it, be a part of it. And we've said it, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. The committee did an amazing job. Like Dr. Belding said, it was a cross section of community members that they dug in, they argued. It never got dirty, but there was some hard conversations that took place. And I said this last night, I would have loved to have seen every single thing that was on that possible list come across. But that committee did such a great job of planning for growth and planning for the future and fixing, renovating our current infrastructures and buildings and all those different things, that they brought forward a great package. I believe in it. Speaking, like you said, for one, there's a lot of excitement from all the board members. I'm excited to see how it gets packaged up. I would love to see every single thing that Ryan Timm, speaking as Ryan Timm, would love to see all 383 million go across the board. It does not create a tax rate increase. We met with our financial, what's his title, Dr. Belding? I'm sorry.
Financial advisor. Yeah.
Our financial advisor met with the committee, and then he was at our meeting last night. We could have gone out for a lot more. We had the capability to go even higher, but to be fiscally responsible, we kept it where it was. We had individuals on there who were against the last bond. One of them presented, and he said in the presentation to the board, I voted no on the last one, but I like this one. And so I'm confident. I believe, should it move forward, again, just like everything, it's going to take communication. It's going to take education, talking to our community about what is out there, why we're doing it, why we're moving forward with this, why we didn't move forward with that. But I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be great for the district. It's going to be great for the students, the teachers, the staff members, everybody involved. It's needed. We did not pass the bond in 23, unfortunately. So now it's really needed. We want to educate our students in the best facilities that we can. I don't want my daughter in a portable building outside of an elementary school, and I don't want any kid in a portable building outside of an elementary school. And so therefore, especially for our community members with younger students who are going to benefit from this for a long time. And really, Trustee Pena talks about it all the time. If you live in Midlothian, you're going to benefit from this because your property value is going to increase because of it. Because with the schools goes the community. And so if we continue to have great schools, great facilities, great places like the Mile that bring in people, CTE centers, should that get there, that's going to bring people in. People are going to want to be in Midlothian ISD.
Definitely. Well, guys, I could keep you on forever, and I'm sorry that we went longer than I usually go, but we were covering a lot. There's so much to talk about, and I really want the public to hear this. For those who are not, they're not watching the board meetings, and they got a lot. Everybody's got live things going on, and I'm hoping that somewhere along the line they catch a clip, then they watch the show or whatever, and they get this information. But on my show, the guests have the last word, so I'm gonna let you guys have a closing statement, each one of you. But before I do that, I know that you guys got an uptick on the special education money. Take care of them babies. Take care of them babies. That's near and dear to my heart. When I heard that they were going to get some money to diagnose and do other things, take care of them for me, guys. Please.
Absolutely. That actually kicked in 26, 27. So out of House Bill 2. Yeah.
Can't wait. So I'll give you the floor.
Ryan? Me? Okay.
President Ryan.
President. Hey, first off, DV, we didn't get the opportunity yet to congratulate you on some big news you got today. This show is reaching out to many people. You're getting the recognition you deserve, buddy. And so I want to tell you congratulations for that. I want to thank you for having us on. Thank you for helping us educate the community on the number one thing, our children. Our kiddos in this community. Thank you. I want to thank Dr. Belding for always being ready and willing to serve and here at any moment. We were together till late last night, and here we are again. I think we talked on the phone already 3 times today, but it's worth it. Mm-hmm. I hope that everybody hears me when I say, I hope any teacher watching this, any parent watching this, any staff member watching this, it's worth every second. I'm thankful for all of you. I'm looking so forward to this school year, to the great things that are going to happen. DV, we might need to go ahead and pencil in an hour next year just for Dr. Belding to talk about all the good things that we did this school year, because we cut them short, and we don't want to do that. So with my final words, I will say we've got a lot of things coming up, and I hope that the community will educate themselves, listen to themselves, believe what they want to believe. And if you have a question, I am not hard to find and or contact. Watch my last interview with DV. I gave everyone my cell phone number. So it's out there. My email, ryan.timm@midlothianisd.org. Reach out if you have a question. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to help you understand anything that it is. I started a new thing of I'm not going to argue with you on social media, but I'll meet you at a coffee shop and we can talk about it. So thank you, DV, again for having us. It's been a great night. I always love chatting with you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Belding?
All right. Again, thank you, DV, for the time and the opportunity to visit with you. It's just such an honor for me to get to serve this community and serve our kids and our staff as a superintendent and work with a fantastic board. Ryan's a great representative of the board, and we have 7 fantastic board members. I think the big thing is as we're creating this show, the beginning of the school year is just a little over a week away. First day of school is August the 13th. Ultimately, that's what it's all about. It's about kids in classrooms, kids in programs, and having a fantastic educational experience and obtaining the education that they need and can have in order to have the life and have opportunities as an adult as they grow up. And it's just such an honor for me to be a part of that. But I just have to say, our teachers, our staff, our principals and administrators, they are just fully dedicated and committed to serving kids and to partnering with parents to make it happen. And there's going to be some changes this school year with the new legislation that's come in, everything from personal communication devices at school not happening anymore to just all kinds of things. There you go. That's right. And things. But together we can make it work, and we can make it work the very best for our kids. And so I really appreciate the community, appreciate everyone's support, and we're going to keep doing great things because we have fantastic people and fantastic kids to make it happen.
Can you guys stick around real quick after the show?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.